Today's topic which I want to talk about is basically authenticity. Authenticity is something which I've thought about the last few days. I mean, I am posting videos on YouTube. I am having social media. I am the one who has to think about this the most because I am the one who's trying to influence you, right? So, I thought about something recently where I was thinking about what confidence is. Like, what is confidence, right? Thanks, man. So, I was thinking about what confidence is, and it hit me, is confidence um, validation from other people or the external or validation from the internal? Now, you'd obviously think like very if you were smart or if you were sane, you'll obviously think that it's from the internal. But that's very much not the case with how we've been living in the last few years, right? Because obviously the generic answer is social media. Because most people's confidence nowadays comes from the numbers the numbers that they see on the screen. So when you think about it, that may seem like confidence, but it's actually multi-layered insecurities because you're projecting a version of yourself that you think other people might like, and then when you get validation for that, you think that you have to keep pushing that image. You have to keep pushing that version of you. So, for example, I used to watch Hamza a lot. Hamza, he's a great YouTuber. He's a great guy who's got into entrepreneurship. I love some of his views. He's really good. He's amazing. But I saw this podcast of him and Chris Williamson, wherein he was talking about how, where Chris was talking about how Hamza's content needs to change, how Hamza's mindset needs to change. And Chris said this very insightful thing, wherein he mentioned sometimes you think that you think something. You may not really think about it. You mean that maybe that's not your real opinion on it, but you think that that's your opinion. Because the human psyche is actually something very complex. It's very multi-layered. It's very difficult to analyze. You can't just figure it out on over the span of a few weeks or a few months or even a few years. In fact, Chris Williamson said himself, he's in his 30s. I think he's 37, 38, 36. I don't know. In his late 30s, and he was saying how even I haven't figured it out. But how come you, as a 26-year-old, seem to be purporting this image that you have figured it out, that you have to figure it out, that you have to be this kind of guy, that kind of guy, that you have to set your convictions in stone? So he also said this other line, which is be careful about the strength of your convictions. I've paraphrased it, I haven't said it correctly, but that's the essence of his quote. The reason I'm quoting this podcast a lot is because this topic hasn't really hit it has crossed my mind recently, like over the last few months, but it hasn't really hit my head, as in where I've wanted to discuss about it. Like, I've never gotten anything insightful that I think I could share to other people. But then I got this thought from watching that podcast, and I realized that we talk about authenticity a lot. Like when people talk about content creation, how to create content, how to market, we will talk about authenticity. But what kind of authenticity are we chasing? Is the authenticity that lies in the image that we have developed online, or is it the authenticity that lies in the person that we are? I don't know if you got my point, but we have a self, we have a persona, a real one, like the one that, like, my persona is the one I'm talking to you right now. But then I could easily switch off this video and go off to Instagram, where I've created another persona, where I'm this completely different guy with different views and different opinions and different interests and different shares, which I might have curated over the last 2-3 years. And that's a persona that I would have created. Thank you. So that's a persona I would have created, and that's what I'm going to be projecting upon other people. And so, is that the persona that I want to be showing to everyone? And is that, say I get like a few 100,000 followers, right? They're all in love with that persona, and so I'm basically being patted on the back with people saying, "Go for it. That's an amazing persona that you've developed. Like, amazing persona, amazing, amazing, amazing." Everyone's just gonna show you so much love that you'll think that that is the only right persona to show. That's the only right personality to show. You'll never think that you could be wrong. So this is where I find it most interesting, and this is where I find it most intriguing, wherein our real authenticity should be developed in the persona that we live with every single day, not in the persona that we project to other people. Because I can be projecting a different side of me to the nice waiter who just served me. I could be projecting a nice version of me to someone I'm going to meet later today. But the real version of me is the one that exists in private when no one's watching. And so, who is that person? How authentic is that person? How in tune with his views, how in tune with his views is he? How in tune with his emotions is he? How in tune with his hobbies and his interests and his soul is he? His soul. How in tune with it is he? In other words, how in tune is he with himself? So when that private version is in tune with himself, it doesn't become very difficult to project that version to the public. So in general, people who act fake or who have another persona to show to people, they are people who have generally not found the right tuning with themselves, or the right, how do you say, the right level of development within themselves, the right level of, what do you say, unity within their soul, within the elements of their soul. And so if there's one thing you can take away from this, it's that try to, this is a lesson for me also, because I'm also reminding myself of my shortcomings with regards to this topic. But if it is possible to, even in a minuscule manner every single day, to check yourself when you're not being authentic, when you're talking to someone and you say something isn't your view, your opinion, when you agree to something that isn't your view, when you laugh at something that isn't funny for you, check yourself and think about it. Okay, is this the kind of person that I am? Is this the stuff that the person inside me, my inner child, my inner parent, my inner self would want to laugh at, would want to agree with, would want to say? So yeah, that's about authenticity. It's very hard to be authentic right now in the current world. It's very hard to be authentic in the way social media is going. But that is the task upon us. And I don't think necessarily leaving social media would help, because you can be inauthentic even if you leave social media. I was thinking of leaving it, but then now I think just be you, and whatever is for you will be attracted. I mean, that's the law of attraction also. I've gone 100 different routes with this, but I want to come back to the main topic, which is authenticity is something that doesn't just come at once. It's something we have to strive for every single day with a lot of practice. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.